But polite as ever, she was saying nothing about her weekend with Prince Charles at Sandringham to the assembled press corps.
Princess Diana is still one of the most discussed members of the British royal family. She recently made the news again when it was reported that a letter she had sent to Princess Anne had been misplaced.
It is the monarch that is the key to this, and the Constitution that underpins the monarchy. We as a family see ourselves there as to support that role.
This has left everyone with a strong desire to find out what the letters contain, and there are many different theories about what Princess Diana might have written to Princess Anne.
When I started my public life 12 years ago, I understood the media might be interested in what I did.
Was it a cry for aid regarding the problems she was having in her marriage, or was it a secret that she felt she could not share with Princess Anne alone? What was the surprising information that Princess Diana disclosed in her letter to Anne? Come along with us as we reveal the letter that Princess Diana wrote to Princess Anne. Princess Diana, who tragically passed away in a vehicle accident in 1997, was noted for her beauty, grace, and compassion. She wrote a letter to Princess Anne that was lost. On the other hand, she was a woman who had to deal with many difficulties at the royal palace. Although she appeared to be a flawless princess to the public, only a small number of people were aware of her difficulties. Princess Anne was allegedly one of them. The lost letter of Princess Diana to Princess Anne highlighted a tight friendship between the two women that was based on an emotional and personal understanding, even though the world may not have been aware of their bond. However, what precisely did Diana write in her letter to Anne? Stick around while we reveal what it contains. People have been fascinated by the unexpected finding of Princess Diana's letter to Princess Anne, which has led to a variety of theories and gossip about what the letter contains. Some people believe that the letter included information on Camilla Parker Bowles, who was Prince Charles's mistress before he married Princess Diana, and whom Diana referred to as the third woman in her marriage. Some people think that Diana's statement was a personal admission of her problems with depression and bulimia. She felt alone and emotionally exhausted because Charles was always absent from her life and their son's life. Because the royal family's secrets were kept inside the family, Diana felt the need to confide in someone she could trust who was inside the palace. Nevertheless, all of these assumptions were wrong. The letters did not concern the particular health issues of Camilla or Diana. They were about something else. Diana's letters were not like the casual notes. They were a genuine and private expression of her most personal ideas. These letters were written between the 1980s and the 1990s, a time in Diana's life when she faced many challenges, including the pressures of being a member of the royal family, a husband who was unfaithful, a father who was not present for her children, and feelings of extreme loneliness. Diana's marriage was falling apart, and she had a hard time keeping her cool in public. To help her cope, she began writing, which allowed her to clear her head. She had no idea that these letters would eventually be made available to the public. But why Anne? Out of all the members of the royal family, why did Diana decide to confide in Anne? Stay with us as we take a closer look at the relationship between Princess Diana and Princess Anne, the relationship between Princess Anne and Princess Diana. Many people have been curious about the relationship between Diana, Princess of Wales, and Princess Royal, as it has been in the public eye for a long time. They have wondered what the friendship between the two sisters-in-law was like. Diana and Anne had a tense relationship before Diana married Prince Charles. According to royal scholar Ingrid Seward, Ms. Seward disclosed an event that took place at the conclusion of Ascot Week in June 1981, about a month before Diana's wedding, in her book Prince Edward. Diana had noticed that Anne did not seem to care about her, and in an effort to make a good impression, she went to the nursery in the Queen's Tower. Anne was there with her son Peter, who was 3 years old at the time, and her daughter Zara, who was 4 weeks old. Diana spoke to Princess Anne. "Ma'am, how wonderful to see you," in a respectful manner. Anne, on the other hand, felt that she was being pretentious and did not respond to her greeting. Instead, she cast a scornful glance at Diana. Diana left the room because she was uncomfortable with the intense force of Anne's disdain. Their relationship was marked by tension and misunderstanding due to this rocky beginning. The age gap was one of the most important aspects that had an impact on their relationship. Anne was 11 years older than her brother's wife, Diana. Anne allegedly felt overshadowed by Diana and was worried that her sister-in-law, who was more than 10 years younger than her, made her seem out of touch. But how did Diana make Anne appear to be out of touch? Princess Anne was annoyed by Princess Diana's emotionally driven approach, which made Anne feel out of touch with her. Anne once said, "Wherever she goes, drama follows." Because of this. This was because Diana was in the media headlines, which was the opposite of Anne's ridiculous behavior. Anne prioritized her royal duties and obligations over public attention. Anne expressed her dissatisfaction with the amount of attention Diana received from the media. Diana, on the other hand, disregarded all of Anne's grievances and instead used her charm and emotional connection to interact with the audience.
HIV does not make people dangerous to know, so you can shake their hands and give them a hug. Heaven knows they need it.
A notable instance of this occurred during the HIV/AIDS crisis, when Diana took off her gloves in order to shake hands with HIV victims in front of the cameras. This photograph became quite popular because it garnered the admiration of the people.
Certainly in the respect that the lead up to Princess Diana coming was, will she or won't she wear gloves? And she didn't. I mean, I believe she wouldn't, and she's lived up to what I believed. She knew the facts.
But as Anne remarked, Diana always brought drama with her. In addition, Princess Anne was recognized as the royal family member who worked the hardest until Princess Diana joined the royal family in the 1970s. However, in the 1980s, the story shifted due to Diana's rise to fame and the media frenzy surrounding her. Despite the fact that Anne was making 4 times as many royal appearances as Diana, the attention was still on Diana, who was pregnant with Prince William at the time. At its peak, the entire media was obsessed with the royal baby. Princess Anne was on a royal visit to the United States, so the media did not pay attention to her. Instead of questioning Anne about her vacation, reporters were more interested in inquiring about Diana. Anne learnt about Prince William's birth from the news crew, which is interesting. When they asked her how she felt about it, she responded without any hesitation that she didn't know Diana had given birth to a child. Anne's reply was predictable because she had a simple and practical nature. On the other hand, she became annoyed when the media pressured her to share her thoughts on being an aunt. All she had to say was that there was too much fuss over the new baby. This demonstrated her unhappiness with the media's lack of attention to her hard work as a royal, yet they are preoccupied with Diana's kid. This demonstrated the contrast in the ways that both women carried out their royal duties. Anne was a serious woman who was committed to her royal responsibilities. She performed what needed to be done without seeking media attention. Diana, on the other hand, enjoyed the attention she received because of her appeal. The differences in their personalities and methods of doing things caused friction between them. According to a royal insider, Diana was scared by her, and Charles never really tried to help his new bride get to know his sister better. But this was just the start of things. Diana and Anne's friendship became even more distant after a number of other occurrences occurred. Stick with us as we provide more information. When Prince William was born in 1982, it was anticipated that Princess Anne would be the godparent to Prince Charles and Princess Diana's firstborn child and future heir, Prince William. This was particularly true because Charles was the godfather to Anne's son, Peter Phillips. Anne, on the other hand, was not awarded the position. Charles was said to have approved of the notion of his sister being William's godmother, but Diana was not in favor of it, so Anne was not chosen. Charles, on the other hand, promised Diana that she would be the godmother of their future child. However, when the moment arrived, something that was not anticipated occurred. Anne was hoping to be Harry's godmother when he was born in 1984, but she was rejected for the second time. Diana, on the other hand, decided to choose Carolyn Bartholomew, her best friend and former flatmate, as the godparent. She explained that she wanted a male godparent for her boy child. Anne declined to go to the baptism of Prince Harry, which took place at Windsor Castle, because of the increased distance between her and Diana that this decision caused. Instead, Princess Anne and her husband sent a note saying that they would not be able to attend the celebration, but that they would arrive later in the day. Princess Anne was hosting a hunting party at her home in Gloucestershire, which is rather interesting. While Prince Harry was being christened, Gatcombe Park, which is 100 miles distant, was the site of a gunfight. Anne's absence was noticed, and Diana's action made more than just Anne angry. Prince Philip, Charles's father, was also unhappy with the decision and, according to reports, was not on speaking terms with his son Charles at the time of the baptism. Diana's choice of godparents for her kid put even more strain on her relationship with Anne. However, in spite of these difficulties, these ladies had certain things in common. Diana stated in Andrew Morton's biography that she and Anne had a terrific relationship, despite the rumors that were going around. They were not each other's confidants, but they respected each other and got along well, which is not how the tabloids usually portrayed them. Let's examine the ways in which the two women are alike.
We put in pioneering lanes to see what's going on in this one. Right. As you can see, they've been working their way here and they've excavated out and they've uncovered a mine.
Both Diana and Anne were very dedicated to charitable work and public activities. Diana's attention was directed toward causes.
The Broderick ward of the Middlesex Hospital is the only specially designed AIDS ward in Britain. Today, the hospital reckoned that the Princess's visit was worth all the government propaganda put together,
such as raising awareness about AIDS, campaigning against landmines, and making regular trips to orphanages and hospitals. In a similar manner, Princess Anne has been a strong supporter of many philanthropic causes behind the scenes, including health difficulties, children's welfare, and equestrian sports. They also had strong, independent personalities. Diana was a lady who was not afraid to speak her mind and who valued her independence. She broke with tradition by wearing more casual clothing and interacting with the public in a hands-on way, which was not something that royals typically did in the 1980s and 1990s. Princess Diana changed the way people thought about monarchy with her attitude to being royal. Anne, on the other hand, is recognized for her strong will and no-nonsense approach. She is focused on her royal duties and presents herself as an independent, focused woman. Their experience with marital troubles was another notable resemblance. Diana's marriage to Prince Charles, which was thought to be flawless, ended in divorce. Do you believe that Mrs. Parker Bowles played a role in the end of your marriage?
He's in excellent form too, thank goodness. Looking a bit more human this morning. No, you'll be told in due course.
Anne's marriage to Captain Mark Phillips similarly ended in divorce, and both ladies encountered hardships in their marriages and significant scrutiny from the media. Even though Princess Diana was a global phenomenon and her tale was in the spotlight, both women continued to fulfill their tasks and obligations without letting the situation get the best of them, despite the hardships they faced in their marriages. Ultimately, Diana and Anne had a special bond that was evident in the fact that they shared some of the same characteristics, even if they were different from one another and had some unpleasant moments. But what could have possibly been included in the letter that was so mysterious? Stay tuned as we take a closer look at Diana's difficulties inside the royal family in order to gain a better understanding of this. Diana's challenges. Diana's difficulties with the royal family started soon after she married Prince Charles, but there were indications early on that she would have challenges in the marriage. What were the initial indications? Continue watching to learn more. Diana discovered a bracelet in Charles's study room 2 weeks before their wedding. The bracelet had the letters GF etched on it, which are thought to represent the nicknames that Charles and Camilla use for each other, Gladys and Fred. Diana had unpacked the boxes, found the bracelet, and became envious by the time Michael Colburn, Charles' right-hand man, arrived at the office. It is worth mentioning that Camilla continued to have an affair with Charles even after they were married. However, immediately after the grandiose wedding, tensions between the royal couple increased as the public and the media began to focus on Diana instead of Charles. This occurred before Camilla's affair with Charles. During their first royal tour after their honeymoon, Charles thought that Diana was stealing the spotlight. Thousands of people lined the streets on both sides to get a view of the couple. Diana would say hello to one side while Charles took care of the other. On the other hand, Charles's side was filled with individuals who were sighing and groaning because they wanted to see Diana. Instead, they brought Charles bouquets and asked him to give them to his wife. Charles felt jealous as a result of these things. Charles' animosity was further exacerbated by the media's infatuation with Diana. Charles is disappointed when he gives a speech about a topic that is important to him, like the environment or a charitable cause, and the next day the newspaper is full of pictures of Diana. The articles talk about her hairstyle, her weight, and her clothes, and they often speculate about whether she is pregnant, but they do not mention Charles's speech at all. Charles, who had formerly been the center of attention, was now being treated as if he were unimportant. Charles was annoyed by the media's focus on Diana, so he didn't take this lightly. However, that's not the end of it.
Pack it up, face tall, a really good one. Hello, how are you? Oh, he's a lovely boy. Yes, lovely boy. Very beautiful, beautiful baby. Yes.
Any suggestion of a name yet?
No.
How's the prince? He's been in there for quite a long time.
Very well indeed. Very happy. They're all very happy. It's wonderful. It's good news.
Diana had a hard time with her marriage because Charles was hardly ever home, and on top of that, she was receiving a lot of attention from the public and the media. He was busy with his royal responsibilities and spending time with Camilla as they had resumed their relationship, and Diana was aware of it. Diana's emotional health deteriorated as a result of her awareness of Charles's friendship with Camilla. After Prince Harry was born, she experienced postnatal depression, and she felt heartbroken. The situation appeared to get worse as she dealt with the melancholy. However, the royal family did not back her because they believed that she was trying to get attention.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
As a result, Diana became distant and alienated from everyone else, and she had to face her challenges on her own. However, Diana's isolation resulted in another issue, bulimia, which is an eating problem characterized by consuming large amounts of food and then vomiting. The royal family believed that these were more signs of Diana's need for attention, not realizing that she acquired bulimia as a result of her husband's romance with Camilla. Diana, on the other hand, continued to present herself as if she had the ideal marriage, attending public engagements with Charles and carrying out her royal responsibilities, even though she was having difficulties in her marriage. However, when they traveled abroad, they lived separate lives, staying in different rooms on the same level.
What was your instant impression, both of you? What did you think about Lady Diana then?
Well, I remember thinking what a very jolly and amusing and attractive 16-year-old she was.
Diana was afraid of what would happen to her sons if she filed for divorce, so she tried to make her marriage work. However, Charles was preoccupied with Camilla, which ultimately resulted in the collapse of their marriage. Anne Allen, Diana's dance teacher, remembered times when Diana cried during lessons. These moments showed how much she wanted to make Charles happy.
Her 20th anniversary year feels like a good time to remember, all the good things about her.
And how upset she was over his cheating. Diana occasionally turned to writing in order to cope with these challenges. She would express her true thoughts and emotions into handwritten notes. Keep watching as we reveal what is within Diana's letters. Diana, other letters. In 1984, Princess Diana addressed a personal letter to her housekeeper, Violet Collison, just 10 days after Prince Harry was born. The letter said, "You were so generous to give Harry such a wonderful gift. We were deeply moved. I am quite grateful to you for the bibs." Diana also mentioned that William loves his little brother and spends all of his time showering Harry with hugs and kisses. However, the connection between William and Harry is currently somewhat cold and is not characterized by loving hugs and kisses. A second handwritten letter, which was written in blue ink on stationery that included a stamped royal crest, was dated October 21st, 1981. It says in part, "Dr. Mr. and Mrs. Pendry, enclosed is a small memento of our wedding day, which I hope you will like. Diana's signature is on the back. However, there is more to it than that." Collision also received a third letter. The letter was written on Buckingham Palace notepaper and was dated July 8, 1981. It was a double-sided letter thanking Collison for a birthday present. Additionally, it was 3 weeks prior to the royal wedding. Lady Diana Spencer at the time also pointed out that everyone was rushing around here, doing last-minute decorations. The bride-to-be has stayed very calm. In another letter that Diana wrote about her divorce from King Charles, she shared her feelings with Collison, saying, "If I'd known a year ago what I'd experienced going through this divorce, I never would have consented. It is nasty and pathetic." In another she wrote, "Sometimes it is too difficult to keep one's head up. Today I am on my knees and just longing for this divorce to go through, as the possible cost is tremendous." Diana's letters were sincere and full of real emotions, giving a look into the difficulties she was facing. Diana's letters also showed that she was grateful for the little gifts and gestures of kindness that she got from the people in her life. On the other hand, Ms. Collison valued her friendship with Diana and retained many of Diana's letters since they continued to communicate with each other. However, on July 30th, 2024, a number of Diana's letters to Ms. Collison were sold at auction by Sorter's Auctioneer in Essex. The objects that were up for auction included a private collection of 32 letters and cards that were written by the Princess of Wales. These letters and cards contained very intimate information. Some of the items were signed family Christmas cards and memorabilia from important dates in Diana's life, such as a personal invitation to the royal wedding, a ticket for Diana's funeral, and letters for her memorial service. An autographed holiday card from 1981, featuring a wedding photo of Prince Charles and Diana, was sold for $3,900 and was one of the most remarkable items. At the end of the auction, more than 12 letters and cards from Diana to her family's former housekeeper were sold for a total of €51,850. Princess Diana's memory continues to be adored by millions of people around the world, even after her death. Diana's notes and letters were sold at auction, demonstrating her lasting impact and the way she had connected with individuals on a deep level. Princess Diana's legacy encompasses more than simply her position as a royal. It also includes the type of woman she was throughout her life. Let's examine the reasons why Princess Diana is still remembered and revered as a princess today. The legacy of Princess Diana. Princess Diana's legacy continues to this day because her compassion and advocacy for the vulnerable earned her the title of the People's Princess. Her revolutionary efforts in AIDS awareness are among her most significant works. Diana accomplished something that no royal would do. She questioned the way people saw HIV/AIDS patients by refuting the assumption that it could be transmitted via personal contact. Princess Diana is well known for removing her gloves and shaking hands with a person who had AIDS. This straightforward yet impactful action contributed to the improvement of the public perception of AIDS sufferers However, she continued. Diana went on to open the first AIDS unit in the UK that was built specifically for that reason. It was located at Middlesex Hospital in London and was dedicated solely to the care of those with the infection. Princess Diana raised awareness about leprosy on a global scale, similar to how the AIDS awareness movement did. She went to see the leprosy patients and touched those who had the disease in order to prove that leprosy is not contagious by touch, as some people believe. Diana became a supporter of the leprosy mission, an organization that provides medicine, treatment, and support to individuals and their families impacted by the disease in 1990. Before her journey to Indonesia, Diana was an active member of the organization for the whole of her life. Princess Diana was very worried about social issues, especially the large number of destitute and homeless people in society. In addition to her work in the field of health, she wanted to find a way to aid them. She became a supporter of Centrepoint, an organization that helps young people who are homeless and works to abolish youth homelessness in the UK in 1992. Diana frequently brought her kids along on these excursions because she understood how vital it was for the princes to see the struggles and injustices that many people in society experience. Diana was also a staunch opponent of landmines, which had deadly implications for those who were left behind. Diana spoke with the Halo Trust, a nonprofit that is attempting to remove mines that were left behind during the Angolan Civil War, while she was in Angola with the British Red Cross. She worked with them to put an end to the use of landmines. Diana also accomplished something incredible. She walked over the cleared lane of an active minefield. This famous trek across an area with live landmines attracted the attention of important people around the world to the hazards that come with using landmines. Diana's efforts were also beneficial to the push for a worldwide prohibition on landmines. The Ottawa Treaty, which is a global landmine treaty, was signed a few months after Diana's terrible death in August 1996. Princess Diana's sons are still carrying on her charitable activities today, as they work to carry on her humanitarian legacy by raising awareness and giving a voice to those who are in need.
My mother would have known that she had been deceived. She was failed not just by a rogue reporter, but by leaders at the BBC who looked the other way rather than asking the tough questions.
Prince Harry is heavily interested in the HIV/AIDS awareness campaign, while Prince William supports Centrepoint, continuing the work that their mother did. He was appointed as the acting president of the Royal Marsden Hospital, which has a children's cancer hospital, in 2007. Prince William has made it his goal to visit the hospital and patients on a regular basis, as it is a cause that is very important to his mother. Diana made a huge impact on the world, and her legacy continues to motivate millions of people. These demonstrated that Diana had left her footprints before she passed away, and her legacy is still alive because it is treasured. What are your thoughts on the letters from Diana? What do you think she would have written about if she had written a letter to Princess Anne? Please share your opinions with us in the comments area. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for further content. Additionally, please click on the video that is displayed on your screen. You will find it enjoyable.